All right, deep divers, welcome back for another deep dive. And today, things are getting nuclear.
Yeah.
We're going deep on Nick Rekita again.
Oh, boy.
But this time, it's not just any old Rekita drama.
Right.
This is how the Rekita saga is playing out on Kiwi farms.
Yeah.
We've got the latest 50 pages of the thread.
Hi.
And let me tell you,
Even for someone who's followed Nick's antics for a while, this is next level.
it is fascinating how this whole situation has just snowballed.
Yeah.
You're right. Even for the people who've been following this Rekieta saga closely, I think are just taken aback by the sheer intensity of this meltdown.
Yeah.
And the Kiwi Farms community's reaction to it.
Okay, so for anyone just tuning in, needing a quick refresher,
Yeah.
we are talking post-cocaine confession,
Mm-hmm.
post-potential Kayla exodus from the Baldo bunker, which is code for Nick's home, by the way.
Right.
Things are getting spicy.
Spicy is an understatement.
Yeah.
I mean, the speculation is running wild.
Yeah.
Take the whole Kayla situation.
True and Honest fan on Kiwi Farms makes this really interesting point.
Okay.
They're saying if Kayla is really leaving, this could be a major win for Null.
Oh, because Noel is still trying to get that body cam footage.
Exactly.
All right.
And with Kayla potentially out of the picture, who knows what could happen.
Yeah.
True and Honest fan even compares it to Kayla climbing her Everest.
Wow.
Like, this is a life-altering decision that could have major ripple effects.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's already a lot. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Some users are suggesting that Nick might actually be happy about Kayla leaving.
Oh, really?
Like he's been craving this freedom from responsibility.
Yeah, Repentance on the forum even said Nick probably thinks that Ralph has the perfect parenting arrangement,
Oh.
referring to Ralph's custody situation.
It's like almost like he's been wanting this.
It seems like he's been craving this freedom
Yeah.
from responsibility.
Which honestly wouldn't be surprising given some of his past behavior, right?
No, not at all.
Remember the whole I'm not a babysitter rant?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
And that brings us to the heart of it. Nick's self-destructive streak. It's like
Okay.
he's deliberately sabotaging himself at every turn.
yeah.
Take the cocaine admission, for example.
Right.
It happened right on the anniversary of Chrissy's father's death, which,
Wow, like guy.
if you're familiar with the whole Cover narrative, and we're assuming you are, was a pivotal moment.
Yeah, huge.
Talk about adding fuel to the fire.
Right.
But some users are taking it a step further and suggesting it might be a calculated move to regain control from April.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like mandatory username lays out this theory that April might have been leveraging something against Nick.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe threatening to expose him if he didn't leave his wife or something.
Oh, wow.
And so Nick admitting to the cocaine use could be his way of calling her bluff.
Right.
Like, if I'm going down, you're coming down with me.
So he's playing like a high-stakes game of chicken with April.
That's the theory. And mandatory username even suggests that April's recent love bombing of Nick might be her last desperate attempt to maintain control.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion,
Mm.
but you can't look away.
No, you can't.
And it's not even the only train wreck. Let's talk about Brianna Wu.
Oh, boy.
2 days. 2 whole days to respond to Brianna Wu with a polite exit.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Third world aristocrat put it perfectly. Embarrassing. What a nerd.
yeah.
It just seems so odd. Like,
Yeah.
why even bother engaging at all if that was all he was going to say?
And the nerd comment, I mean, come on, Nick.
Right.
That's the best you got.
Third world aristocrat actually had a fascinating take on that.
Hey,
They said, nerd is Rekita's stalker child.
interesting.
It's like he's projecting his own insecurities onto Wu.
Which, again, wouldn't be shocking given some of the accusations against him in the past.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, of course, we have the grand finale, the live stream meltdown.
Oh, yeah.
Kiwi Farms was ready for this.
Oh, yeah. Hamadal, all-seeing waifu, posted a get ready message, and the entire forum was buzzing with anticipation.
Yeah.
Everyone knew something big was about to go down,
Right.
and then boom, Meltdown City.
And the comparisons to past meltdowns started flying.
Yeah.
Save the Lowly, for example, said, this is Nick getting just as fucked up as his greatest hits, like the Eric July meltdown and Dear John.
Wow.
It's like he's fallen into this pattern of self-destruction.
But this one feels different, doesn't it?
It does.
Like Save the Low, I also pointed out that Nick has almost 2 months of seething to work through,
Yeah.
presumably referring to Kayla potentially leaving.
Right.
You can practically feel the years of frustration and anger boiling over.
Yeah.
And then there's that quote, fire up a stream. Nick, tell us nerds how cool you and April are.
Oh my God.
Pure gold.
Yeah.
It really captures the mood on Kiwi farms, this bizarre mix of fascination and disgust. Like, they can't believe what they're seeing,
Right.
but they can't tear their eyes away.
It's like a train wreck you can't look away from.
And what's really striking is that even some of Nick's longtime supporters are starting to turn on him.
Yeah.
There's this growing sense that the normies are catching on,
Right.
and the facade is finally crumbling.
Yeah.
It's like we're watching the beginning of the end for Rekieta Law.
Possibly. But before we jump to conclusions, let's dig a little deeper
Okay.
into what this all means for Nick and his future.
Okay.
It really does feel like the walls are closing in on him.
Yeah, and the thing is, this isn't just some contained Kiwi Farms drama anymore.
Right.
It's spilling out into the wider internet.
Uh-huh.
And even mainstream media is starting to pick up on it.
Wow.
You know, Nick's always had this I don't care what people think attitude,
Right.
but even he can't ignore this level of scrutiny.
It's a stark reminder that even in the wild west of the internet,
Yeah.
actions have consequences.
Yeah, especially when you're a lawyer with a reputation to uphold.
Right.
You know, it wasn't that long ago that Nick was on top of the world.
Yeah.
Thriving law practice, dedicated audience, even had that whole Rekieta Law brand going strong. And now it seems like it's all crumbling before our very eyes.
It really does make you think about the fragility of online fame, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
One minute you're the king of the trolls, the next minute you're the one being memed.
Yeah. But it's not just about the memes, is it?
No.
This whole saga has gotten incredibly dark.
It has, and Kiwi Farms, for all its flaws, is playing a really interesting role here.
Okay.
They're not just passively observing, they're actively documenting
Yeah.
and analyzing every single detail of Nick's downfall.
It's like they're conducting this morbid post-mortem in real time.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
they're picking up on things that most people would miss.
Oh, okay.
Like, remember how we talked about the Nerard insult?
Right.
On the surface, it just seems like another one of Nick's childish jabs.
Right.
But the Kiwi Farms users are digging deeper, looking for the psychological motivations behind it. Right, third world aristocrat even connected it back to Nick's past bullying accusations.
Interesting.
It's like he's using this word to belittle and dismiss someone who he sees as a threat to his fragile ego.
Right, which again fits with this pattern of self-destruction we've been talking about.
Right.
He pushes away anyone who challenges him, even if it means burning bridges and alienating his supporters.
And what's fascinating is that even within the Kiwi Farms community, there's no consensus
Oh, really?
on what's happening with Nick.
Okay.
You have some users who are still fiercely loyal,
Yeah.
defending his actions and blaming everyone else for his problem.
Right, and then you have others who are practically celebrating his downfall.
Right.
Like, they've been waiting for this moment all along.
It's a microcosm of the internet itself, this strange mix of love-hate obsession and schadenfreude.
Oh, yeah, it's the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos is Nick Rekita spiraling further and further down the rabbit hole. So the big question is, can he pull himself out of this?
Yeah.
Can he salvage his career, his reputation, his life?
Honestly, it's hard to say. He's made some terrible choices and the consequences are piling up.
Right.
But he's also shown a remarkable ability to bounce back from adversity in the past.
He's definitely resilient, that's for sure.
He's certainly got a knack for attracting attention, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
But I think this time it's different. The stakes are higher, the accusations are more serious, and the internet is watching more closely than ever before.
Yeah. It really does feel like a turning point.
It does.
So it all comes down to whether he's willing to take responsibility for his actions and make some serious changes.
Right.
Will he seek help for his addiction?
Yeah.
Will he address the allegations against him? Will he apologize for his behavior?
These are the questions everyone is asking, but the only person who can answer them is Nick himself.
Yeah. And in the meantime, the drama continues to unfold.
Of course.
The Kiwi Farms thread is still going strong,
Right.
with new developments emerging every hour.
It's almost impossible to keep up.
It really is. But that's what we're here for.
That's right.
We're your guides through this wild and often confusing world of internet drama.
Exactly.
We'll continue to monitor the situation closely, separate the fact from the fiction, and bring you the most insightful analysis possible.
Absolutely.
Because let's be honest, even though it's messy and sometimes disturbing,
Yeah.
it's also incredibly captivating.
Yeah.
It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck, but you can't look away.
No, you can't.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the Rekieta Law meltdown, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
I think it's the importance of critical thinking.
Okay.
Don't just accept everything you read at face value. Question your assumptions, challenge your own biases, and always be willing to change your mind.
Well said. And remember, folks, this is just one small snapshot of a much larger story. The internet is constantly evolving.
Right.
And the drama never really ends. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Absolutely.
But most importantly, stay sane.
Stay sane.
Until next time, deep divers.
See you later. It's a cautionary tale, isn't it?
It really is.
A reminder that the internet can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It can give you a platform, a voice, an audience.
Right.
But it can also take it all away in an instant.
And it feels like the court of public opinion has already reached a verdict on Nick Rekita.
Especially over on Kiwi farms.
Yeah.
They're judge, jury, and executioner all rolled into one.
Yeah.
And they are dissecting his every move, every word, every facial expression.
Don't forget the memes.
Oh, the memes.
Yeah.
They're ruthless with those memes.
Ruthless.
But beneath the dark humor and the snark,
Yeah.
there's a genuine attempt to understand what's driving Nick's behavior.
Right.
Like, why is he so self-destructive?
Right.
Why does he seem to crave chaos?
Yeah.
Is it a cry for help? A desperate attempt to maintain control?
Yeah.
Or is it something else entirely?
It's like they're trying to solve a psychological puzzle, piecing together clues from his past, his relationships, his online persona. And they're not afraid to go to some pretty dark places to find those answers.
Which is where things get a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the drama,
Right.
the entertainment value of it all.
Right.
But we have to remember that there's a real person at the center of this.
Yeah.
Someone who's clearly struggling.
And while we can analyze and speculate all day long, ultimately we don't know what's going on in Nick's head.
Right.
We don't know what demons he's battling, what pressures he's facing.
And that's a good reminder for all of us, right? To be a little more empathetic, a little more understanding. The internet can be a cruel place.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to forget that there are real people with real feelings
Yeah.
behind those usernames and avatars.
It's also a reminder that we should be careful about the information we consume online.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't believe everything you read, especially on forums like Kiwi Farms.
Right. Take everything with a grain of salt.
Right.
Do your own research. Consider different perspectives.
Right.
And most importantly, don't let the negativity consume you.
Yeah.
It's easy to get sucked into the vortex of online drama,
Oh, yeah.
but it's important to step back and remember that there's a whole world out there beyond the screen.
Absolutely. All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the Rekieta Law meltdown,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
I think it's the importance of critical thinking.
Okay.
Don't just accept everything you read at face value. Question your assumptions,
Right.
challenge your own biases,
Okay.
and always be willing to change your mind.
Well said. And remember, folks, this is just one small snapshot of a much larger story. The internet is constantly evolving,
Right.
and the drama never really ends. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Absolutely.
But most importantly, stay sane.
Stay sane.
Until next time, deep divers.
See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
You know, it's a reminder that the internet can be a double-edged sword. It can give you a platform and a voice and an audience, but it can also take it all away, just like that.
Yeah, and it really feels like the court of public opinion has already reached a verdict on Nick Rekita.
Especially over on Kiwi farms.
Yeah.
They're judge, jury, and executioner all rolled into one.
Is true.
And they're just dissecting his every move and every word, every facial expression.
Oh, and don't forget the memes.
Oh, the memes, of course.
They are ruthless with those memes.
They're ruthless, but beneath the dark humor and the snark,
Yeah.
there's this genuine attempt to try to understand what's driving Nick's behavior.
Yeah, why is he so self-destructive?
Right. Like, why does he seem to crave this chaos?
Yeah.
Is it a cry for help?
Yeah.
A desperate attempt to maintain control? Or is it something else entirely?
It's like they're trying to solve this psychological puzzle,
Right.
piecing together clues from his past,
Right.
from his relationships, from his online persona.
Right.
And they're not afraid to go to some pretty dark places to find those answers.
Which is kind of where things get a little uncomfortable. Yeah.
No, it's easy to get caught up in the drama, the entertainment value of it all.
Right.
But we have to remember that there's a real person at the center of this,
Of course.
someone who's clearly struggling.
And while we can analyze and speculate all day long, you know, ultimately, we don't know what's going on in Nick's head.
Right.
We don't know what demons he's battling or what pressures he's facing.
And that's a really good reminder for all of us, right?
Yeah.
To be a little more empathetic, a little more understanding.
Yeah,
The internet can be a cruel place.
absolutely.
And it's really easy to forget that there are real people with real feelings behind those usernames and avatars.
It's also a reminder that we should be careful about the information that we consume online.
Absolutely.
Don't believe everything you read, especially on forums like Kiwi Farms.
Right. Take everything with a grain of salt. Do your own research and consider different perspectives.
Yeah.
And most importantly, don't let the negativity consume you.
Right. It's easy to get sucked into the vortex of online drama, but it's really important to step back and remember that there's a whole world out there beyond the screen.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Rekieta law meltdown, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
I think it's the importance of critical thinking.
Okay.
Don't just accept everything that you read at face value. Question your assumptions, challenge your own biases, and always be willing to change your mind.
Very well said. And remember, folks, this is just one small snapshot of a much larger story. The internet is constantly evolving, and the drama never really ends.
That's right, it never does.
So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Absolutely.
But most importantly, stay sane.
Stay sane.
Until next time, deep divers.
See you later.